Hello and welcome to episode number 29 of Zach's Tech Talk Tuesday. My name is Ryan McQueeney, and on this week's show, the very first episode to actually be taking place on a Wednesday, we will be discussing Alphabet Inc.'s new mobile payments platform, Google Pay. I just want to apologize real quick to the listeners who were used to the Tuesday schedule. Obviously, that's the name of the game here on Tech Talk Tuesday. Out every Tuesday morning for you. However, with the market holiday on Monday was President's Day, Zach's offices were closed, and this week's scheduling got pushed back. Have no fear, we're here with a full episode today. I just wanted to clarify as to why the Tech Talk Tuesday has shifted to Tech Talk Wednesday this week. So Tuesday actually marked the launch of Google Pay. It's Alphabet Inc.'s latest response to Apple's popular mobile payment platform, Apple Pay. Of course, both of these platforms really based off of their names being pretty self-explanatory. They're just two of a growing number of options that let users pay for goods with their smartphones. So if you're not doing this yet, this is for at merchants that accept mobile payment platforms like Apple Pay and now Google Pay. You simply you have your credit card or your checking account linked to the platform, and then paying at, say, a grocery store is as simple as opening up the mobile app on your phone and just kind of scanning it over top of a payment pad that is similar to what in the past you would have inserted or swiped your debit card or credit card into. A lot of the time, these pads are kind of a two-in-one, and if you're using it with your card, you can see the little area where you'd scan the Apple Pay or the Google Pay over top, and it works for a lot of people. It's convenient. You don't have to carry around your cards. It's a little bit safer as far as if you lose your card or if something gets stolen. So it's another example of modern technology kind of simplifying what has been the same for decades now, which is that kind of point of sale user experience. Talking specifically about Google Pay, though, this new iteration of Alphabet's mobile payment platform comes after several failed attempts by the company to launch such a platform, and most notably these include Google Wallet and Android Pay. Google Wallet was the search giant's first foray into this market before it was folded and eventually transformed into Android Pay. And now Google Pay promises to combine features from both Google Wallet and Android Pay, including the ability to pay at checkout counters using a phone, as I previously discussed, and in certain public transit systems, the option to scan into the system using your phone as well. I believe Google Pay is launching launching that feature in only 3 cities to start off. And off the top of my head, the only American city I believe is Portland. I could be wrong there, and I know they're looking to expand that, but it's limited to start things off here. Another thing they're looking to expand, Alphabet, is looking to expand is Google Pay users' ability to send money to one another, and that's going to be through its Google Pay Send platform, which is actually slated to launch within the coming months. This feature kind of mimics several popular money sending applications, including PayPal's Venmo and Square's Cash App. But more importantly, Google Pay Send is also a copy of Apple's newly launched Apple Pay Cash. And at the end of the day, Alphabet's new Google Pay really does feel like a direct response to Apple's progress in the market. Apple Pay has obviously exploded in popularity over the past few years, and that's obviously thanks in large part to its integration on iPhones. Of course, Alphabet is no smartphone slouch, and within the next few days, Google Pay will reach all Android-enabled smartphones in the world, meaning that from a purely based on exposure, it's obviously a serious contender. But the real question is going to be, will Google Pay catch on? Alphabet's frequent rebranding of its payments platform seems to imply that previous iterations have not resonated with users. It's it's really the only concept, really the only thing that I can come up with as an explanation as to why they've switched this a couple times now. Um, but at the same time, a quick glance at Google Pay's new features, the features that it's debuting with, does not necessarily reveal anything particularly new that could provide a spark to kind of fuel new interest in that this as a mobile payment option. So, Alphabet has said that it is currently working with its own partners to ensure that Google Pay users will be able to use the new platform to shop for goods online or by using Google Assistant. But right out of the box, Google Pay's launch really seems to be more of a name change than a reimagining. So I think to bring it back to the comparison to Apple Pay, another thing you have to consider is whether Apple Pay and Google Pay are even really competing for the same users. So the way I'm picturing it is, Apple Pay is obviously going to be for people using iPhones, and Google Pay is going to be for people who have Android-enabled smartphones. And to me, it doesn't really seem like a specific mobile payment platform is really going to be enough to sway someone who is on the fence about going for an Android or an iPhone. However, I do think it's interesting to note or to acknowledge that if Apple is having more success in getting it's already reeled in customers to actually use Apple Pay, that's kind of a lingering question for Google as to why they can't seem to deliver the same results with a large number of Android users. But regardless of that question, and regardless of whether that phenomenon is actually going on, the launch of Google Pay reaffirms the hype around mobile payments and suggests that these platforms will continue to be a focus for tech companies going forward. Again, this kind of really underscores two things, I think. From a more meta, like widespread perspective, it underscores what's happening in a lot of kind of budding technology markets, and that's this idea that we're really on the cusp of old processes, old tradition, old habits getting easier and simpler and hopefully safer. And then from a more specific standpoint, we're seeing that happen really rapidly in the kind of greater financial services sector. And these technology companies are coming in, and something as simple as, swiping a debit card or swiping a credit card or paying for a grocery store item, it looks a lot different now than it used to. And another thing I want to mention too is it's not really just tech companies who are making progress here. We're also seeing, companies in the kind of consumer side of things lead the charge as well. So one example I want to give before we wrap things up is Starbucks. Starbucks has been seeing some really interesting growth with mobile payments because it's allowing people to, through its mobile app, order ahead, but it's kind of requiring that you load money onto the Starbucks app and be this loyalty member to order ahead. And that is really connecting with their customers. And they're always citing it as a catalyst for mobile ordering. And now when Starbucks reports, it's kind of one of the first things we look for. So it's not like we're not inventing the idea here. Like, mobile payments is a thing. It's a growing thing. It's not just like a fantasy in the kind of fintech market. But whether Google Pay actually resonates with anyone, I guess is yet to be seen. But, I think that just about does it for us this week. I would love to hear from people who are my Android users out there. If you've gotten the update and you've started using Google Pay, let me know how you feel about it. If you're Apple Pay diehard, definitely let me know how you feel about it as well. Feel free to shoot me an email at podcast@zax.com. Always remember to make sure to check out all of our other audio content at zax.com/podcasts. And remember to subscribe and leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts. Thank you guys for listening to Zach's Tech Talk Wednesday podcast. We will see you next time.